Alright guys, so I got this brand new third brake light just come in this morning. What we're going to do, we're going to try to crack this thing open. Well, we're going to try to open it without cracking it. And I thought these were supposed to have a cover back here, but being as this one doesn't, I'll probably take some sealant or something other, try to seal this up back here. That way water doesn't get in on, this is the LED board for these. But I'm going to take this board off. Just got 2 screws here and here, and take the LEDs out, and then we can go ahead and start heating and try to get this lens off again, hopefully without breaking the thing. Alrighty guys, so I got the LED board off like I showed y'all, and I'm gonna set it in here, that way hopefully doesn't get all dusty, and set our screws here, and also I popped off this diffuser. Just 2 screws, one here and then one up here. Pops right off. And now we have a bare third brake light with a lens. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to move everything off of this and set a microfiber down. That way we don't scratch this lens up. Peel this backing, because you do not want to melt this to the light. Ask me how I know. I've been there and I've done that. It's not fun. Then we'll grab our heat gun and probably take some picks and try to start working this lens off of here. Alright guys, so we got the lens off of this guy, and pretty much all you got to do, take your heat gun, work around it with a pick here. And I didn't really use these a whole lot, except for just holding it open. We got a little boo-boo here, but I figured we'd better have that at the bottom than at the top. But I went ahead and got this scuffed up. There's a few places I need to touch up, but I can't get to. Got the top scuffed, got the bottom scuffed. Still got to do a little here, a little here. Then we can wipe it down with this isopropyl alcohol and start our painting process. So I actually had some left over from when I did the headlights, but what I do for paint generally, for little small stuff like this, is you can go to an automotive paint store and get them to mix your paint in a actual spray can, and then you can clear it if you want to, but generally speaking it's just single stage paint. You spray it and you're good to go. So I find that easier, because in a gun you waste a lot of paint to do something small like this. So I'm going to continue scuffing this up, wipe it down, primer, and then paint. Alright guys, so I just got the primer sprayed. We'll let this dry up, and then we'll come back out here with our paint and get it sprayed in. If you're wondering, this is our primer. I've always had good luck with this primer. Never had any issues, but I'm going to take this in there. That way nothing falls out of the tree and lands on it. Alright guys, so just got our second coat of paint done. I got to come over top and do one, and then I'll flip it around this way and do one to get down into all these little crevices and stuff. But we're looking good. So we actually moved this table out here where the pool used to be. That way we're out from under the trees and this thing can sit here in the sunlight. Okay guys, so I just sprayed the last coats of paint. Everything looks good. Ooh, it's getting hot. It's getting pretty toasty. And I need a haircut worse than a hog needs slop. But the lady that cuts my hair can't do it for like another 2 weeks. Anyway, first world problems, I guess. But if you're wondering, this is the paint that I used. I bought this at Car Color Center in Conway, Arkansas. But this is the paint code for my truck. This is Nason paint mixed up in here. And like I said, it is single stage, so you don't have to clear over the top of it unless you just want to. And what I would recommend, if you're going to do so, is paint it, then sand it, wet sand it, but don't go through your paint. Wet sand it down finely, and then clear over it. That way you don't have any adhesion issues or anything like that. This is the exact same process that I did on my headlights and my taillights, and I have had zero issues doing so. One of the headlights is a little light. Probably could have thrown some more paint on there, but I ran out. That's where that can come from. But anyway, we got it done out there. It's sitting out there drying. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna go in the house, grab some water, and I need to move the zero turn. I need to move all this stuff out of the way because we're gonna nose this thing up in here because it's not looking good for the AC system. But y'all will probably have already seen that. Probably the last video actually, but I have no clue about it yet, so we'll just have to see. Y'all will probably have already seen by this time, but I haven't, so I'm kind of worried about it. If you missed that video, go check it out. But like I said, I'm gonna let that dry out there in the sun. It is out there in the direct sun, so it shouldn't take too long to dry. And I need to let it off gas before we put everything back together. And one thing I did do is I wrapped the lens up and I put it in here. That way, hopefully, it doesn't get any dust on the inside of it. I wrapped the inside of the lens with the protector that it came with, and then it's in here out of the way. And before we put it back together, I need to blow the lens out. I'll blow everything out. Make sure everything is good and clean before it goes back together, because dirt inside of a lens is not a good day. Thankfully, I've had very little issues with that, but you do not want to touch the inside of that lens. The same thing with headlights, the same thing with taillights, any lights. If you take them apart, do not touch the inside of the lens, because they'll leave a fingerprint, or if you try to wipe it, even with a brand new microfiber, you will scratch it, and then you will see it. So in some instances, a fingerprint is a little bit better, just leave it alone, but that is something to consider. And then when we go back together with everything, we will go over it with some butyl sealant, and then I do have to seal up the back of the thing, so I'll probably get some silicone and run around the back where the LED board is. That way water doesn't get into the actual light. It shouldn't, but we're just going to do that to be on the safe side. That way, hopefully, we don't have any issues. And I know, one more thing real quick. I know some people would say, oh, it's an eBay third brake light, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, you know, honestly, here's my thinking of this. Those were Amazon taillights. They've been on there over a year, have no issues. Except the one on the passenger side, the socket for the reverse light bulb doesn't have a seal on it, and it's letting dirt in, which is not the taillight's fault. You know, it's not like, oh, it's an Amazon taillight, they're going to leak. Well, they do leak when you first get them. But being as I cut these open and painted them, did all that, put them back together and resealed them, they're okay. Haven't had any issues. Like I said, I need to reseal them because I think the sealant that I used was a little bit too hard and it's kind of coming loose. But that's not a big issue. But another thing being is, y'all seen how easy it was for me to take this LED board out. So if that board ever fails, all I have to do is pop that light out, unscrew the board, order a new light, screw the new board into it, and it's good to go. So, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword there. Some people say, oh, they might leak. Well, I just took the lens off the thing, and you're going to reseal it. So it's not a big issue. For me, anyway. Some of y'all might care. I really don't, to be completely honest with you. Because like I said, I'm resealing it. I know what I'm going to seal it with. I know I'm going to seal the back of the thing up. I know what I'm doing to it. So I'm not too concerned in that. But anyway, guys, we're going to let that dry for probably a couple hours out here in the sun. Thankfully, it's a really nice day today. It's hot, but it's a really nice day. So we're going to let that sit out there and cure out. Let it off-gas, do its thing. Another thing with off-gassing, if you've ever seen lights that have this weird like haze to them, it's like a oil slick type haze. Generally speaking, what that is the paint off-gassing inside of the light and sticks to the inside of the lens, and you will never ever get that out. That's why if you look at my headlights and my taillights, I don't have that issue because I let them sit and off-gas before putting them back together. So just take that into consideration. Alright guys, so I think I messed up. I think sitting out there under the tree, it off-gassed into the paint. Not a big deal. What we can do is we'll sand it down. Try not to go through the paint because it's not very deep. It's relatively smooth, but the finish is not what we want it to be. Over here it's a bit rough, but I'm going to let it continue to cure, and then we will sand it down. Like I said, try not to go back through the paint, that way we don't have to primer it again and hit it with some more coats of paint. Alright guys, so it's a couple hours later. We just got back home, but I just went through sanding this thing all down. So I got a little more to get right here, but I got to figure out how to get in there with a piece of sandpaper. But we'll do that here in just a second. Wipe this thing down, and we'll spray some more paint on it. You know, it is what it is. There's no need over crying about spilt milk. You know, I didn't like it, so this is prime time. This is why I like to do stuff on my own. If I mess something up, it's on me. I fix it, and you know, everything will be up to my standard, and that's what I like to do. Like I said, if I mess it up, I mess it up. It is what it is. But we'll get this thing, we'll get these edges sanded a little more. I need to sand down in these, and we'll get some more paint on this thing. Alright guys, so I just got done spraying the final coat, and this thing, it looks good. I just got done spraying it, but look at that finish. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're gonna let this thing sit here, dry up, inside this time, not outside. I'm gonna sit here and watch it, try to make sure no bugs land in it, because this thing looks very good. And then, of course, you're always gonna have these little drips like that. What we can do is when it's dry, we pull it up off of here. We can kind of trim those off, or sand them off, or whatever you want to do. Just be careful not to cut the paint. But anyway, there we are. Looks good. I'm very, very happy with the finish on it. So we're gonna let this thing dry up, and then maybe later today, or probably tomorrow, I'll probably let it sit overnight and let it fully cure and fully harden, and off gas and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll come back in a day or so, and we'll seal this thing back up, put everything back together, and get it installed in the truck. And also guys, as we're sitting here and this thing is drying, I thought I would also mention, if y'all noticed before I started painting, we had some little divots from where I pried on this thing. Now, if you do what I did and you sand that high spot out, you can't hardly even see it. There's 3 or 4 up here. You can't even hardly see them. And there's a big one down here. I smoothed it out as well. There'll still be a little bit, because you can't get all of it out unless you just go crazy with the sanding. But like I said, I'm very, very, very happy with the way this thing is turning out so far. As soon as it dries, we'll get it back together and put it in the truck. Okay guys, so it's a little bit later. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. My impatience got the best of me. But we have our nicely painted third brake light here. Got some dust on it. We'll wipe that off here momentarily. But we're gonna go ahead and start throwing this thing back together. So from my office in there, I grabbed this butyl that I use. You can use the Retrofit Source has some really good stuff. I used it before, really like it. I got this because this is black. The stuff I got from the Retrofit Source is actually gray, so I didn't want to use it. Would rather stick with this black. But I'm going to go ahead. We're going to reinstall our diffuser piece here. Make sure it's nice and clean. And then what we will do is go ahead, we'll flip this guy over, especially being that it is nice and dry. We will drop in our diffuser, get it lined up, and then you can kind of see how it's going to look there. But anyways, like I was saying, drop it in there and you can kind of get. Alright guys, so just like that, our third brake light is all back together. Now all we have to do is throw a channel of butyl around the lens. I always like to start in the middle of the bottom and work my way around. Because the reason for that being is if water sits on top of here and there's a gap, water might leak in. That's just a little trick that I learned, or that I've always kind of done. So start at the bottom, one continuous stream all the way around until you meet back on the bottom again. Then we can heat up our butyl and throw it back on our lens. And then I'm also going to throw some sealant around the back of this since that cover was missing as well. Alright guys, so as you can see, that old disgusting third brake light there, it's about to go. Well, we got this thing sealed up, got a little much sealant here and in there, them two little spots. But I do intend to scuff this whole thing down, repaint the entire outside as one piece, and then border that lens and clear the whole thing as one unit. Just make it look a little better, and you ain't got to worry about them yellowing, kind of like I did here on my tails, how I bordered them. I didn't clear the lenses. I do want to do that, but we will do that at some point. I just wanted to get this thing in here, do something, change it up a little bit. So I'm gonna hop up in here, we're gonna get this thing swapped out. Okay guys, so first off, I don't hear nothing about my roof. Parking under that tree up there in the driveway, they can't help it, but this thing's filthy. But I got the light in, it's plugged in, and my genius self forgot to put seal in it. So I'm gonna pull it back out, put that seal in it, and we're gonna check, make sure they work, and I'll probably wipe out around here, kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay guys, so we got this seal on all the way around, and then my grandpa took some RTV silicone and went around the outside of this thing so it's sealed. Now these should have a door, and I look back on the eBay listing and they are supposed to have a door, so you might not have this issue, you might, but I just wanted to make sure that this didn't leak. This seal should stop it, water, but I just wanted to make 100% sure that it didn't leak. So now that we got both this foam seal on and that sealed up, we can go ahead and put this back on the truck. Okay guys, so as you can see, you see me right there? I'm shoehorned in the back of the truck. Luckily, we didn't have to take the brake light out. We can shoehorn it through this little hole here, the plugs. But we have no light. We did some diagnosis with a test light, and it shows for two of the wires to be backwards. So he's got some butt connectors. We're going to switch them on the wiring for the light here, and we'll go over that here in a minute. Alright guys, so we end up having a couple wires crossed. We cut them, moved them around. Pins are still a little bit loose, so probably tomorrow we'll have to take them apart and try to tweak it a little bit, try to make it work a little better. But that is that's it right there. So you kind of turn the brightness down. I'm gonna step back and we'll get another picture of them. Alrighty guys, so there we are. Y'all seen the finished product before it got dark on us. Looks brighter on the phone, but The LEDs in here. We finally got our shop light working. Thanks to Mr. Handyman over here. But got that done with a little bit of tweaking. So basically, if we look at our old light here, which is this thing's actually broke, which is pretty interesting on the top here. But the two outside wires on the new light on the plug here were crossed. So I believe that would have been the dome light and the ground were crossed on the new one. So he got those cut, flipped them around, and butt connected them back together. But it seems like in the plug it's still a little bit loose. Right now they work fine. Just like he said, I think going down the road they would probably flicker a little bit. So we'll do some more tinkering with those, see if we can get them to fit a little bit more snug. But guys, that is going to be a wrap for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, please drop a like and comment down below. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope everybody has a great day. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Here we go again. So earlier started this thing up to go meet a guy here in Greenbrier and some other stuff, and we have no AC again. So turn the truck on. We'll just turn the key on for right now, and then auto again, it's set at 60. Turn this up, hot air. I mean, it's just like you turn the heater on. Now this does work, because if you turn it up to 90, which is just a little hotter than it is today, it does heat up and it kind of slows down. Whereas you turn it back all the way down, it does speed up to try to, especially if you put it on auto, tries to keep up, you know, because climate control, and it's not doing anything. So come out here, we checked all the fuses. All the fuses are good. The relays work. You can hear the relays. Matter of fact, we'll turn the key on and I will show y'all after it quits dinging. But you can turn it. You can hear the relay. So the relay works. The fuses are fine. I don't know. What we did, we've come out here and we hooked up the AC gauges to it, and it shows to have too much pressure on the high end side, about 140, 145. So we're going to try to, we have a way to safely and EPA friendly way to bleed off some of the pressure, and that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so we just bled it down to roughly 70, 75 pounds, and still we ain't got nothing. So there's a few more things we're going to try, but it's getting kind of late on us. I don't know if we're going to get it tonight. But I think we might try to bleed it down some more and then try to put some fresh Freon in it and see if it makes any difference. I don't know. I don't know at this point, but we'll see what we can figure out. Well, I presume, he does too, that this thing's probably got a block in it somewhere. When we replaced everything in the AC system, we replaced the dryer, the orifice tube, the compressor, the high pressure switch, the low pressure switch, all the fuses, all the relays, new computer, put the wiring harness in it when we had the engine problems. So everything is new other than the condenser. You know, it might be, it might not be, and then the stuff in here, obviously. So we're gonna say that the orifice tube may be stopped up, because when I replaced that orifice tube, when we put the compressor on it, it was just full of junk. But what we did, we hooked the gauges on this thing and tried to put Freon in it. We completely drained it. Again, a safe way of doing it. It's not like we just let it out into the air or anything. So the proper way to do it, we drained the AC system completely, 0 pressure, and we didn't get a whole can put in this thing and the pressure spiked. So I'm gonna say we need an orifice tube. So the guy that bought the pool is actually here getting sand. I don't know why, but anyway, he's getting sand. So probably when he heads out, or maybe here in a minute, I'll run up here, see if I can get an orifice tube and throw in this thing, and then I guess we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we're gonna let that pile sit down there and kind of try to cool off some. We're gonna take the blue truck up there. Sorry if it sounds like I'm out of breath, because it is. It's hot. It's not so bad hot, it's humid as can be. Also, if you're wondering, we moved the white truck. It's right here now. And I will tell y'all, I'm gonna be so happy to have 2 vehicles that both fully function. That way, when something stupid happens like that, I can hop in the other one and still go on about my day. So I'll be super happy for that. I ordered more parts for this guy last night, and they're on their way. So hopefully we have this thing on the road here very, very soon. I want to get that done, and then we get the 6.0 done, and then after the 6.0 is done, sometime this summer we need to tackle the roof here on the garage. But I would like to get the over there, the 300 painted, get it operational, and then have 3 vehicles that we can have fun with, make content with, whatever we want to do. And again, we don't have to worry about, you know, this one breaks, oh, I got nothing else, you know. So anyway, something I'm kind of looking forward to. And with this thing, I'm just ready to have it back in general. But guys, let's run up here. We'll see if we can find an orifice tube. Come back. It'll probably be dark by then. It may not be, but probably will be. But we will see if we can get that thing replaced. Try to put more Freon in the system, and hopefully, fingers crossed, our AC system works again. Alrighty guys, so it's now the next day. We picked up a new orifice tube yesterday, but being as we have everything completely discharged, to replace the orifice tube, all you gotta do is disconnect this line and it'll be right here in this tube. Alright, so here is our well, the one we replaced last year. Now basically all you have to do is reach into that tube with a pair of needle nose pliers. You can grab it and pull it straight out. But now we go ahead, put our new one in. This one is pretty rough looking. But to think of it, the old one that we pulled out was full of a bunch of stuff, like they had put stop leak in the system or something other. But we'll get that in there. We'll probably have to pull a charge on the AC system, and then we can go ahead and try to get it recharged. Alright guys, so I got the vacuum pump out. We're gonna pull a, like I said, we're gonna pull a vacuum on the AC system. Then we're gonna shut it off. We gotta run and grab some Freon. Gonna put some fresh Freon in it. We'll have to go run and grab some Freon. And while we do that, we're gonna let it sit, see if the system leaks down at all, which would again indicate a leak. But I will say, it is a bit concerning that this guy has metal shavings all over it. It's generally not a good thing. And another thing that's kind of concerning that I noticed yesterday is the white residue here on my coolant bottle, which is generally not a good thing either. So hopefully it's just nothing big. But with my luck, it is generally always big. So I guess we'll just have to see. We had intended on doing a coolant flush on this truck here before very long, and adding a coolant filtration kit, but just haven't really gotten around to it. I need to order everything to do it with, but if you have any suggestions for coolant for these, I know these trucks are very particular due to the oil cooler, EGR cooler, and the front cover on these engines. Drop a comment down below if you have a 6.0. Let me know, what do you run in your truck? Do you run any additives or anything like that? Because I know these front covers are bad about corroding, and so are the heads. So y'all let me know. But like I said, we're gonna pull a pretty good vacuum on this thing for probably another 10 minutes or so, and then while we're gone, we'll see if it leaks down any, and I guess we'll go from there. Alright guys, so while I've been working on a top secret project over here, that'll be a couple more videos from now. He has been charging the AC system, and the compressor won't kick in. So right now what he's trying to do is jump the compressor and make it kick in, and see, you know, if it will move, or do we need another new compressor. So I guess, well, like I said, while I'm working on this, he's been working on that. So I guess we will see what happens here shortly. Alrighty guys, so we went ahead and like I said, while I was working on something, that'll be in another video. My grandpa went ahead, he got this thing charged up, or as much as it would take. It's not full, but the clutch won't kick in. So the AC clutch won't kick in. So what he did is he jumped the relay over here, put power to it, everything, and it will not kick on. So what we're thinking is either something happened to the wiring. We're not going to get to check it today. The truck's hot. Set it out here with the hood open and try to get it to cool down, but it's still super hot, because we had to take it up to Greenbrier and do some stuff a while ago. But we're thinking it's either the wiring, being it won't kick on at all, or maybe the clutch locked up altogether. Don't really think so, because the air worked one day and then didn't the next. It worked fine and then just didn't. So we'll have to do some searching, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's 4th of July, so he's off work. I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we'll get that checked out this weekend at some point in time. But guys, that's probably going to be a wrap for this video. You know, kind of sucks. It is what it is, to be honest with y'all. Been working on the white truck, so I figure this one's just jealous a bit. Spending too much money on that one. But I have some stuff in for the white truck. I have some stuff in for this thing that I was working on a while ago. So y'all stay tuned. But anyway guys, like I said, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and comment down below. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching guys. I hope everybody has a great day.